Today I found out that my ex had cancer. What a great opening. What a good pick-me-up. Wow. I'm not sure in what way or how bad it was, but it seems like she's okay. I was actually going to make a completely different video today, which I'll just push to next week, but I got this news this morning. It brought a lot of feelings up to the surface, so I was obviously felt emotionally affected because she was someone that I used to care about. And when you hear that they went through something, they struggled through something pretty bad, you feel something about it. Like, just because they're not in my life anymore and we don't have any type of relationship doesn't mean that like I don't feel a level of sympathy. For me, it's like finding out that your friend from 10 years ago like has cancer or had cancer. Like, I've just found myself in just sympathetic or empathetic. I found myself in a pathetic situation where like I just, that someone from my past went through something traumatic, and that sucks. But the other side of the coin of the situation is that she in my head kind of exists in the side of my brain that deals with nostalgia in a bad way. And specifically, how I like to call it is times gone by nostalgia. It's specifically this idea of just being kind of obsessively just kind of it's very hard to explain. I'm not a professional by any means. I'm just going off of my feelings and like how I've perceived all of these thoughts you know what I mean. She is a part of this like idealized past that my brain kind of like latches onto and thinks about to a unhealthy degree. This is a time in my life that I will typically describe as like my old world. So, and let me kind of define this time frame here. So basically, I met a bunch of my friends in the later half of high school. Funny enough, coming off of a relationship, and I found my way to some of these friends who I had already been friends with, maybe off and on over the years, but I got dumped by my high school girlfriend, and I found my way to this other group of people that took me in and really helped me like turn my attitudes around. Then from there, we all graduated high school in 2016, and that's a whole video in and of itself. I think like the fact that a lot of young people are idolizing like the mid 2010s and like wish that they grew up then just says a lot about the state of our world today, but also the effect that COVID and the political instability and strife that we've gone through for the last decade. It just says a lot about what these younger kids have been through, how they might wish that they grew up before all that shit started. But fortunately for me, I graduated in 2016, and that summer was like amazing because it was like the only time that I had no responsibilities. I could only look forward to the future, going to college, and I also started dating my girlfriend, now ex, who I'm speaking about in this video. I had, like the most amount of friends ever at one time, and we all hung out like constantly all the time. I also did end up getting a part-time job, which obviously wasn't fun, but it gave me expendable cash, and I literally had no flippin' responsibilities. All I had to do was go like drink with my friends and go to the beach and like go hiking and just like have a good time. And then like from 12 to 5, like a few times a week, I had to go like run a cash register. From there though, as the years went on, people would leave and they would come back, but slowly more people would leave and less would come back. And that relationship that I was in with my ex ended in the beginning of 2018, so just a couple years into college. And then all was all right until really everyone ended up leaving, and the last kind of straw in that regard was when Cameron, my roommate, who you might have seen in our 2016 tier list video, he, who had been home throughout college, left to go finish up his degree. And there was just really nobody left around. Luckily, though, we ended up becoming roommates, which has been awesome. But to wrap up the kind of history part here, in college, very, very luckily, and because I was a bad student and ended up having to go to college longer than I should have, I ended up meeting the love of my life, Ashley. And we've been together ever since 2021. She's my forever person, and we graduated. And then from there, we were kind of just trying to get into the workforce, doing like odd jobs here and there. But eventually in 2023, we both finally got full-time jobs. We worked for a while. I worked for basically 1 year, just saving up as much as I could, so that I could move out and move to this place with Cameron. And now 2 years since then, we are now, unfortunately, very, very unfortunately, dissolving the 445, as we like to call it. It's not actually dissolving. We're all going to be friends forever, but the living situation will. Ashley and I will be living together, and Cameron's going to go off on his own, live closer to his job. But coming here is where these heavy feelings of nostalgia and missing times gone by really started, which is funny because, well, not started, became accentuated. A lot of my negative feelings spurred from my dislike of my job. It served me in that it allowed me to make enough money to move out, and it has sustained me. I was able to get a raise last year, which helped a lot. I have learned a lot from myself through my efforts. I'm not going to get into it because I just don't think it's smart to talk ill on the internet. I'll just leave it at that. I don't like my job very much, and that dislike has just grown steadily over time. Before I go on I also just want to preface that I have come a long way, and this is a lot of this conversation that I'm having with you all is retrospective. I'm talking about what I've gone through, not necessarily what I'm going through still. I've worked through a lot of these feelings. I'm trying to change my mindset in positive ways to stop thinking about the past as much, like living more in the present, having more hobbies to engage with. Also, Ashley and I are moving in together soon, which is going to be a whole new beautiful chapter in my life that I'm really excited about. But that chapter starting, unfortunately, means that the chapter between Cameron and I living together is ending soon. It's been really fun to have someone to hang out with whenever I want to, and we've been able to hang out at a frequency similar to we did in high school and in college. So that's kind of been a nice return to form. But he's leaving, so that's kind of means that a piece of my old world is changing, leaving my life. He's not leaving my life. I literally have plans to hang out with him 9 days after he moves out. And that's one of the ways that I've improved my mindset in thinking about all this. I used to think my old world is dead. Something would happen or something would change. I'm oh, that's another thing from my old world that's dying, that's dead, and it's gone forever. And I'm now left with nothing. That's not true. Okay, he's not dying. My old world, it's not around anymore in the exact way that it was. I'm not in college anymore. I don't work at that part-time job anymore, but I'm still friends with all my friends, even though they're not all physically here anymore. I still have my family, which I'm planning on seeing more too now that Ashley will be moving in. But my old world isn't dead. It's not I don't have to mourn it because it's dead. And also that means that the future also isn't not bright. That's kind of the worst part of this line of thinking is that it's a cross between like mourning the past and having no bright sight of the future. And it's not even like so literal all the time. It's very hard to explain, especially because I'm not a psychologist. But when your brain is clouded from your past and you are really not a big fan of your present, and I'm specifically talking about my job, my relationship with my friends, family, and Ashley are some of like the bright spots in my life currently. But what do I do? 8 hours a week, every single day, I go to my job, which I don't like. So it consumes. And the fact that I am not super like sure about how I want my future to be in regards to my career also doesn't help things, right? So getting back on track though, Cameron, my roommate, is leaving. I've been feeling the emotional weight of that. And then I find out that my ex, who is tied up in all that nostalgia, I found out she had cancer. This combo of events kind of just led to a weirdly emotional day. And though I have worked hard to not have these feelings of nostalgia weigh down on me, I still feel like it's an important phenomenon to talk about, because when you hear about nostalgia and people talk about nostalgia on the internet, they're talking about like missing things, I feel like, more culturally of the past, like engaging with franchises of the past, old music, old TV, old activities, the way life used to be when you were a kid, because it's something that's affected all of us. It's something that's very much a product of the internet. Like, people have such a vast access to the past and the memories of the past in a very visual way. Like, and for like a minute, it's like fun, and sometimes it is fun. Like, that's the problem with nostalgia on the whole, is that it's a double-edged sword. It's a reminder of the fun times, and that those fun times are also not here anymore. And so it's a kind of a recipe for disaster if you engage with it too long or in the wrong ways. But I feel like no one really specifically talks about this like times gone by nostalgia. This like a world that I used to exist in, and that was great for me, no longer exists anymore. And you're kind of like, the feeling is like a mourning feeling. It's also a comparison feeling. Like, if you're currently having any bad thoughts about anything in your life, it's really easy to then like pull up a time from your past and be like, wow, remember when I had no responsibilities? Remember all I had to do was just hang out with my friends all the time? It's less materialistic. It's more about like experiences and relationships and memories, longing for those memories. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like I'm better than other people and I don't fall for the materialistic nostalgia. I know how to play the Pokemon TCG card game now and have competed in a tournament. Look, I've spent a lot of money on Pokemon. For me, I ended up finding myself going down this nostalgic rabbit hole because in hindsight, there was a point in my past I let myself slip mentally when things started to change in my life, not as a result, but like in tandem, coincidentally. I faced some medical issues and some social problems that just completely destroyed my mental health at the end of 2018 into 2019. And by the time I started to get my shit together, my old world had disappeared. And I think some of my kind of like 3-year crash out, it was mostly about how I hadn't faced some of the mental and medical problems that I had, in addition to just like reconciling with years of like mental abuse that I had put on myself, and not in like a direct way, but just like how I hadn't faced things that I needed to for so many years, and it dragged me down for so many years to the point that I like hit a rock bottom. And it just kind of happened to coincide with some other things. I started studying in the film program at the college that I ended up meeting Ashley at. So it all ended up working out in the end. But I applied to be in this film program during high school. And I didn't get in because my grades were absolutely shite. So I went to a different school with a lesser program and I didn't love it. And my girlfriend and I at the time broke up for the first time. So I just wanted kind of a new change. So I ended up going to county college for a little while, and that was great because Cameron and our other friend were going there at the same time. So I got to spend more time with them, and that was good. And I got my grades up. And then finally, I was able to apply and then get into the film program. Finally, after like all these years. And I don't really think I fully comprehended that like I shouldn't have done this program at the time because I went through all the effort to get into it. In hindsight, I wish I had the emotional space to just sit down and actually think about what I wanted to do, and I probably would have made different choices. Luckily, it all worked out though, so I can't say that I don't regret anything. If I didn't meet Ashley, I would have regretted all of it probably. But so it took a while, but about 2 or 3 years later, during the pandemic helped me a lot actually. Like I was like away from that school. I also started another YouTube channel with my mom. We were doing cooking videos over at Cooking with Coop. Go check that out if you want. But we started that in 2020. So over the course of like 2020, I was kind of like finding my passion for making videos again. I ended up leaving my job at the grocery store, but not after working there for maybe like 6 or 7 months into the pandemic. It was a lot of a bonding experience that happened during that time with the people that I worked with. But in 2021, by the time that I was really like finding myself again, my old world was gone. I wasn't seeing my friends anymore. And luckily, during the pandemic, I was able to see them more again because they all finished college on time and they also all came home because of the pandemic. So we were able to like have one last like hoorah summer together, which was really fun. But then I got into my relationship with Ashley the next year, and people started moving away again, started to go to grad school, got jobs. A lot of people started getting jobs, and we slowly, like once again, a similar cycle of people kind of just leaving and getting jobs and becoming too busy. And at the time, it didn't really affect me because I had a new life that I was experiencing with Ashley and with graduating college. And I was working towards goals, and they seemed more attainable and more fun to attain. Post college, Ashley and I just spent all of our time together. So I wasn't as interested in hanging out with my friends as often as I used to. You know, I was experiencing something new, and everyone who's been in a relationship gets that feeling. And it wasn't even when I and Ashley got our jobs that things started to change, because I was still working towards a goal. I was trying to make money. This was also my first full-time job, so I was trying to impress. I was trying to improve on my skills and earn enough money so that I could eventually move out of my house. But then I did move out, and it was at that point where, like, for once in a while, I didn't really have anything to work towards. I had the apartment, I had the job, and my dislike for my current job really has affected this a lot. I think if I had a job that was more enjoyable, like the substance of it, as well as if the people that I was working with were a little more fun to be around, or were maybe my age, and I could befriend them, or I could like learn from them, I don't think I would have really reflected so hard on the past, because my future would have seemed a little bit brighter. And I think having that brighter future kind of pushes the negative feelings of the past away, or at least like it doesn't make you overthink time passing as much, which is something I'm trying to remedy which is something I'm trying to remedy now by maybe finding another job. Speaking of which, I'm always second guessing my career path. It's really hard when you're like kind of depressed to be creative. When you're not super big fan of what you do in your career, it's hard to keep wanting to keep liking what you do and wanting to keep doing it. Especially when you've had somewhat of a history, a complicated history with the work already. This is probably the longest raw footage that I've captured for one of these videos thus far. It's a tough topic to talk about because I'm not an expert. I haven't sought therapy, even though I should and hopefully will at some point. But I don't have the words of a professional to kind of explain these feelings and these experiences that I've had. And it's also hard to talk about your ex and kind of have your ex be a part of it, and reconciling with the past and the fact that at one point in my life I was responsibility free, debt free. I was in a relationship with someone that was great for me at the time, and we had lots of fun together, and I had lots of friends. But if you think about it too hard, and if you don't have clear prospects of your future, this line of thinking can really, really eat away at you, and it's really not healthy. So, like I said earlier, I'm focusing on the present. I'm trying to engage with hobbies and things like video in a more personal way, and let go of the grasp that sticking with this line of work, like the concept of that, has on my life. I can pivot if I want to. I can find something else to do if I want to. And that line of thinking has been very freeing, because I'm like, oh, well, there are other things that I could find meaning in that I could do as a job that doesn't have to be video or be what I've always done. And I can reserve video for just me, for just myself, which is what it always really was. It was just a way for me to express myself in fun and goofy ways. And that's why I've come back to it for many reasons. My world is a little bit smaller. It's shrunken over time, so it's nice to have an outlet to speak. I've only been able to see Ashley on the weekends for the most part of our relationship, because she lives an hour away. But now that we'll be moving in together, I will not only be able to see her more, but my weekends will be more available. And I'm really excited to utilize that time, not only to engage with my hobbies more, but also to see my friends and my family more. It's been a big reason why I haven't been able to see my friends as much over the last 6 years, is because my weekends have been booked hanging out with the love of my life. And so it's tough to balance your friends into that. But now that Ashley and I have been together for 5 years, and that Ashley is friends with all my friends now, I'm really looking forward to seeing them more. And yeah, I think that's just it. Giving myself more reasons to be excited about the future, and framing the past more in I'm lucky to have experienced what I have. I'm lucky to have known the people that I've known. I'm lucky to have met the people that I've met. I'm lucky to have loved the people that I've loved. And I'm lucky, so lucky, to have what I have now, and to love the people that I love now, and that whomst I will love forever. And just through repetition and really believing in that mantra, that's really helped me get through these feelings of stuck in the past, nostalgia. Well, that's, I think, going to be about the end of this video. I've been recording for 1 hour and 10 minutes. God, every video I'm trying to get these videos down to 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm definitely going to try and get the next one down to 10 or 15 minutes so that these videos are a little bit more accessible, a little bit more digestible. But this one hit close to home in a weird day, feeling that I kind of just needed to like spill out over this microphone in order to get through. So if you're at this point, if you've gotten this far, bless your heart, bless your soul, and bless that subscribe button down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one with a video a little bit different. Thank you and goodbye.